Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Great to be here.
Yeah, 5th annual Ohio X Summit. Wow, this is incredible. Chris Berry, shout out to you again. You write stories about everybody. You give awards to everybody, but someone needs to write stories about Chris. Someone needs to give awards to Chris. So, congratulations again on all the traction with Ohio X. Here we are, Ratmir Timashev, serial entrepreneur, technologist, investor, looking to make Columbus the next tech capital of the United States. You are different than most people in Ohio. You are different because you were not born here. You were not even born in the United States. But one of the most important characteristics about yourself is that you are a global citizen. You personally have lived across regions, across the world, delivering billions of dollars of revenue in the North American markets, in the European markets, in the Latin American markets. But right now, your focus, your attention, your resources are narrowly pointed on Ohio. Why? Why Ohio, and why do you want to make this place better today than it was yesterday?
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. It's a great question. Yeah, I always tell the story that I got lucky 3 times in my life. First time, I was born to a good family and attended a good school in the city is called Ufa. It's similar to Columbus, about 1 million, couple million, very industrial in Ural Mountains. About hour-and-a-half flight from New York City, from Moscow. Like Columbus is hour-and-a-half flight from, so very similar to Columbus in that regard. Second time, I got accepted or admitted into the top science school in Soviet Union. It's called Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology. People sometimes refer to as MIT of Russia. And the third time when I came to Columbus, so that was my third time when I really got lucky. And with every thing that, with every move, more and more opportunities came my way. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity that Columbus and Ohio gave me, and Ohio State University gave me, to come as a young scientist. I was a graduate student that came in '92 in chemical physics program, and I was recruited by Professor Miller. He personally kept calling me and really wanted to come, and that's why I came here or ended up here, because people often ask me, it's like, why didn't you go to MIT or Stanford? Like, because of Professor Miller, who really wanted me to come. And at that time, and still, we have a very good chemical physics program, graduate program at Ohio State. So I'm very grateful, and I always said that if I will be successful, the first million that I'll make as a business person, I already knew when I came that my long-time career will not be science, even though I came as a scientist. I want to be an entrepreneur. Again, I'm talking about early days of the internet, '92, right? And the second part of the question, or the second answer to your question, why Ohio, I believe we have in Columbus and in Ohio, we have everything, all the ingredients that we have to become the next innovation capital in America. We have brilliant people, hardworking, great Midwestern culture, and we have Ohio State University and other schools. So we produce a lot of talented, or we attract a lot of talent from Ohio, but nationally and internationally. And we have the infrastructure, and we have great companies. We have the great business environment, and we have great companies, a lot of Fortune 500 companies here. So all the ingredients that we have are here to succeed in the next technology evolution or revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say that Columbus is about 10 years behind Austin, Texas. I think we're catching up, and I think we're grateful for your efforts in trying to help us get there. So let's talk about OH.io. It's still a very fresh, ambitious project to bring 100 next-gen software and AI founders here to Columbus. Over the next decade, it's a well-manufactured plan. I've seen it. I've been humbled to play a part in it. let's be clear, it's not an economic development project. I mean, this is very much a private company. It's almost like a startup in itself. But the unique angle to this entire thing is predicated on the domain of sales and go-to-market. You know, for the past 10 years, this ecosystem has talked a lot about software engineering and software developers. Let's build here, let's get that talent here. But you are thinking differently about that. So let's describe the plan about OH.io. How do we attract these companies? How do we deliver value? Who are we attracting? And why is sales and go-to-market the core thesis here?
Yep, sounds good. Yeah, when I was building my first company, which was about 30 years ago, like mid-90s in Columbus, it was my first software company, I decided to go to Silicon Valley. And I like to share that story when just to look around, observe how things are done in Silicon Valley. And I came back, and people in Columbus, in Ohio, started asking me, it's like, Ratmir, what do we need to do to make Columbus the next Silicon Valley, or Ohio the next Silicon Valley? And I didn't know the answer, and I kind of thought about it for a while. And then I realized that, yeah, I observed one situation when I was in Silicon Valley. I was sitting in the bar with a group of friends, and I was watching how one young gentleman was approaching a young lady and trying to ask her for a date. And he was bragging about his startup. And I thought that when we in Columbus or in Ohio, everybody will be bragging about their startups, then we will become a Silicon Valley. So it's all in our minds, right? So to change that, so to make Columbus the next Silicon Valley, we just need one or two Googles or Microsofts here, right? But the Microsoft or Google, they start with the founders. So we need somehow to bring more founders here, or make our people founders. So to create that environment where everybody is dreaming about their startups. Every single one is only talking about their startups. That's how they live in Silicon Valley. And I think it all depends on us as well, right? So as business and technology leaders, like let's more talk about our startups, about the coolest thing that everybody is talking about in the last 3 months, which is called Claude Code. I don't know, have everybody heard about Claude Code?
Fun fact, you might be an investor in that company. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, but I'm promoting
That's a good one
it for a different
well.
reason, yeah. It's just my 15 years old came to me a couple of weeks ago. He said that I've used Claude Code to build my first app, and it's like, please explain me. Like I started asking, it's like, how did you learn? Please explain me. And the app was pretty cool. It's like it's monitoring all the public markets, because he has a portfolio. I gave him $5,000, so he has a portfolio. He's like, I need an easy way to monitor all my portfolio to get all the news in one place, including like financial analysts and industry analysts and so on. Like, and it's a single place where he monitors and it predicts and it makes recommendations. And he used Claude Code, 15 years old, right? So, and it's pretty sophisticated. He's thinking about starting like charging money for it. But yeah, coming back to the question, what is OH.io? So we need to, I was thinking like, somehow we need to attract founders. And when I was a founder, the number one problem that I had, that's another story. So normally the founders, they know how to do very easy for them to do 3 things, the most difficult things. Because I'm frequently being asked, like, what does it take to create a successful technology or software companies? And I always say it's easy. It's be at the right time, at the right place, and create a brilliant product. That's easy. And the founders understand that. But and then people said, okay, how do you do that? The next question. I don't know, because it's called founders magic. Only founders understand. But today also what's important is number 4 and number 5 is what's called sales and marketing. Like you have to take your product to a broader audience, right? So you have to start making money. And that's where the founders say, no, Ratmir, for us, first three things is not a magic. We know how to do that because to me, that's the magic, right? So normal people don't know how to do that. And founders say 4 and 5 is the magic. We don't know how to do sales and marketing. We don't know how to develop, design, define our go-to-market and then scale it and start making money and growing our revenue. The original idea was that there are lots of startups in the US, in Europe, in Israel, everywhere that want to penetrate US market. And they truly don't know how to do that for many reasons, for business, for business cultural. But basically, their alternative is to waste a lot of time and a lot of money. And I've done it several times myself, like hire the wrong VP of sales or chief revenue officer, hire the wrong chief marketing officer, build something, then fire everybody in 18 months and then do it again. And it takes like several attempts before you get it right and several $1 million. And I said, we are going to simplify it for the founders. And that's how we developed our sales pitch, why they need to come to Columbus. Because we are going to build them, and like you correctly said, Alex, it's not a venture capital firm, our company, OH.io, and it's not a sales and marketing consulting firm. It's an end-to-end, what we call performance venture, which offers our founders to come to Columbus and have a turnkey solution, revenue generation machine, from lead gen all the way to deal closing and revenue generation.
That's perfect, Ratmir. I mean, perfect segue into the next. In my role here at OH.io, I've talked to over 100 VCs, over 300 founders. No one in the world has heard of this model before, and I think that's pretty cool that the inventiveness of that model happened right here in Columbus. You're right, we're different. We're different than VC, we're different than a traditional consultancy, different than a sales agency. It's all based on this performance model, based on this revenue as a service, as Chris Berry in the Ohio Tech News so adequately put it. Who bears the risk in this performance model? And why do founders think this is a good deal for them?
Yeah, it's a great deal. And Alex, we already you've done a European trip, and this message really resonates with European venture capitalists and the founders because we have the skin in the game. Our business model is unique but very attractive for founders. Basically, we say, come to Columbus. You have to spend some time with us because founders, they normally are the best people who know how to sell the product. So come to us. We will build a team together with you. It's a go-to-market, so it's salespeople, marketing people, but we have to polish or optimize the go-to-market strategy. And those are not early-stage startups. They already have the product. They already have revenue, maybe $1, $2, $3 million. They already selling to the U.S. customers, but they do it either remotely or with a couple of people, and now they need to scale it. So our model, we will build a team for you. Those people will be on our payroll, so we will pay for them. You don't need to spend a dime. And but from the revenue from net new revenue that we generate, we will cover the cost for the first 18 or 24 months. And after the cost is covered, we will split 50-50. So we're kind of a large reseller for them of their products, but it's more than just reselling. We're building the whole go-to-market motion and the whole team. And after 24 months, they get a ready-to-go team. So our idea is that we transition that team after 24 months to their payroll, and their team is fully their team effectively, and that becomes the U.S. headquarters for sales and marketing or go-to-market operations. So that's how we think we are going to attract, and again, that message resonates. We only started recently, but that message resonates, and we already have 3-4 companies in our program, and I think it's going very successfully. We started recently, and so that in this way, we want them to build U.S. headquarters in Columbus, and thus be present in Columbus and in Ohio.
I'm excited to share that we've just onboarded our first international company to OH.io. It's a Swiss cybersecurity company offering identity management security to global enterprises, and this is going to be the first of many international companies that we bring to Columbus. So this is pretty thrilling to see how this manifests. Yeah, thank you. There'll be some more news about that hopefully in the next week or two. So we're going to do this with 100 companies, right, over the next couple of years, if not the next decade. That means we got to find them, we got to convince them, we got to deliver revenue to them, and do all of that in an AI native way that's cheaper and better and faster than ever done before. I mean, it's a big scope, but it has the potential to change this region forever. But it's not all going to happen today, right? So what are the things that we need to do in the next 12 months as a company to prove that we're on the right track? What are the KPIs? What are the key milestones that we're going to be performing over the next 12 months, the things that we need to get right in order to deliver value here in the near term?
Yeah, again, our ultimate goal is to have a couple of Googles or a couple of Microsofts, right? So once we have a Google level of success, then all our young people will be thinking about their next startups and bragging about their startups. So every single Ohioans will be thinking about startup versus something else. So that's the ultimate goal, and it starts with bringing founders as well as cultivating the entrepreneurship culture in Ohio, in Columbus, at Ohio State University. And we're doing a lot with Ohio. I'm doing a lot with Ohio State also on different projects, including the unique curriculum and unique educational system that we are building and creating to promote the combination of strong computer science and entrepreneurship. Those things will be announced later this month and throughout the year. Some great projects that we are doing with Ohio State University. But coming back to your question, so what are the KPIs? KPIs are very simple. They are successful in the US market. The US market represents, for most of the companies, 40–50% of the global market. So they want to be successful. They know that they need to be in the US to be successful. And by the way, if the company is based in the US, the multiples in terms of like how valuable this company is much higher than if the company is just based in Europe or all the revenue comes from Europe or Asia. So all the companies, they want to be in the US, they just don't know how to do that. So the KPIs are very simple. Be successful, and success is measured in number of customers and the revenue that we will generate for them. So again, we're attracting them to come to our program. It's between 18 months and 24 months program. We're working with the founders, we're building the team, and our ultimate goal is to have 100 AI startups in the next 3–5 years to come here, and be at least some of them become what people call unicorns, or what we call like the next Googles, right? So that's the ultimate goal.
So let's talk about how we deliver the revenue here. You've recently joined the Columbus Partnership, and for the audience that wants a quick refresher, the Columbus Partnership is an organization that brings top CEOs in a room to improve the city of Columbus on many different fronts. Your mandate to that group is to ensure that enterprises and companies across our region adopt, or at least try out, early stage technologies. This is something that I know a lot of founders in this room have been clamoring for. We've been pounding the table for more capital, but early stage traction is just as important. This is why Y Combinator is so successful in San Francisco, because everybody just buys the products from one another and you get to 100K MRR in a couple months. We're trying to do that here. You're trying to do that with the Columbus Partnership. And so how has your message resonated with people across Columbus and the Columbus CEOs, as well as how will the companies at OH.io benefit from your work there?
Yeah, Columbus Partnership, and I became a member a few months ago, and I'm very honored to be a part of this great organization. It's a non-profit civic organization, which goal is to promote economical development and and prosperity in Columbus and in Ohio. It's a great organization started by Les Wexner over 20 years ago, and that unites 70 plus CEOs from the top companies in Columbus. And they have committed to help us with OH.io by giving an opportunity for our founders to pitch their product to the IT departments and their business leaders. And that's very important. That's one of the things that founders are looking like how to get the first customer, right? So in addition to our value proposition that we will minimize the risks for you and we will pay for building the team, you just need we will cover the cost from the revenue that we will generate. So that value proposition really resonates. But the other part of the value proposition, we will find you the first customers in Columbus, in Ohio. And by the way, like somebody measured, like there is 40% of the GDP is made like in the radius of 100 miles from Columbus, right? So
500 miles, but it's okay.
500 in the 40% of the U.S. GDP. So the access to the best companies, Fortune 500 companies, but also other and the best industries, retail, pharmaceutical, agriculture, and so on and so on. Is unbelievable. Right. Is a unique value proposition for our founders.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk about the 10,000 people that just graduated from Ohio State. I know that there's some students in the room here. I know that there's some parents who just had students graduate, not only just from Ohio State, but across the state. This is a bonus question, by the way. They're entering the workforce at the height of a technological revolution, something that few of us have seen before. Ever-changing landscape of job descriptions and roles. You finished your education here at Ohio State in the mid-90s, kind of right at the precipice of the dot-com boom, and you obviously capitalized on that pretty well. If you were to compare your experience at that age, versus what college graduates are experiencing today, what is different? And if you were to put yourself in their shoes and you were just entering the workforce right now, what would you focus on? What would you do? What would the things that you would try in this new age of AI happening right now in across the world?
Yeah, that's a great question because I do have my son graduating next year, not this year, from Fisher College of Business. So he just finished his third year. And I really care, and I really am curious about what he's thinking, what his future is or should be. And I remember asking him, what are his friends thinking about it? And I think we need to help our kids to be more ambitious in this era, right? So he said that friends of mine, from the dorm and frat house, they're great. They're super smart, hardworking, but they lack a little bit of ambition goals. Because I asked, good friend of mine, what are you going to do after you graduate? He's like, I'm going to work for my dad's car dealership. And then the other friend is because his dad owns the car dealership, the other friend says, yeah, I'm going to work as a wealth manager for my dad's hedge fund or whatever. Yeah, but I'm thinking they should think a little bit bigger, right? So they should think about their startup. And I think the opportunities are tremendous. The AI presents tremendous opportunities in terms of creativity, entrepreneurship. Everybody should think about starting their own startup now. I was very skeptical in the past about how many people, what percent of the population can be entrepreneurs, but now I'm very optimistic. I think everybody can become an entrepreneur or at least a very creative person that think about how to create the next brilliant product or some kind of a breakthrough.
There's no better time to become an entrepreneur, especially as a young student or recently graduated. All the tools are at your disposal to build a product last night and sell it today. But still, there's no prompt that says, "Hey, get my product to $1 million in revenue by the end of the month." There's still no prompt for that. So I think our focus on sales and marketing is certainly going to be pretty relevant in the age of AI. Last question: who's going to win, OpenAI or Anthropic?
I'm a big investor in Anthropic. I have more money put in Anthropic.
That's a good choice.
For some reason. But it was by accident. I wasn't that smart, but I did invest in both companies a couple of years ago. And I put more money in Anthropic, but it was just because it was available, not because OpenAI was less available.
It's a good investment, my advice. Do your own research, everybody. Everybody, Ratmir Timashev, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex.